If you are listening to this right now, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Because this message is not random. It did not appear because of an algorithm. It did not find you because you were searching. It found you because you were ready. There is a shift happening in the spirit, and the ones who feel it most deeply are the chosen ones. The ones who have walked through fire, confusion, isolation, rejection, delay, and silence, and yet somehow, you are still standing. You've felt it, haven't you? Something new is awakening inside you. Not loud, not chaotic, but steady, rooted, authoritative. This is not the power you imagined when you were younger. This is not the power you prayed for in desperation. This is the power God waited to release after your character caught up with your calling. And today, we are going to talk about what this new power will change in your life, not in theory, not in fantasy, but in real, tangible, everyday ways. If you've ever felt like your life was being stretched beyond comfort, if you've ever felt like God was taking too long, if you've ever wondered why you had to suffer this much, this message is for you. Let's be honest. When most people think of spiritual power, they imagine visibility, influence, recognition, miracles on display, and doors opening everywhere. But the power God is releasing in this season doesn't start outside of you. It starts within. This new power doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't rush to prove anything. It is the power of spiritual authority. And authority is very different from excitement. This power will change how you respond, not just how you act. It will change what you tolerate. It will change what drains you, and what no longer can. You will notice something surprising. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. You don't need to defend your faith. You don't need to convince people of your calling. You don't need to chase alignment. Because when God installs authority, your presence speaks before your words do. This is why some people will suddenly feel uncomfortable around you, without knowing why. It's not arrogance. It's not pride. It's not ego. It's alignment. One of the first things this new power changes is your internal dialogue. The war in your mind begins to quiet. Not because problems disappear, but because fear loses its voice. You will still think deeply. You will still feel emotions. But anxiety will no longer lead. You will stop asking, "What if it all goes wrong?" and start asking, "What if God already handled this?" This power stabilizes you. You no longer spiral when plans change. You no longer collapse when people walk away. You no longer overthink every decision. Why? Because the Holy Spirit begins to govern your thoughts, not just inspire them. You gain discernment, not suspicion. Wisdom, not paranoia. Clarity, not confusion. And suddenly you trust yourself again. Not because you're perfect, but because you're submitted. This part may hurt, but it will heal you. This new power will rearrange your relationships. Not aggressively, not dramatically, but inevitably. You will stop overgiving. You will stop rescuing. You will stop shrinking to keep peace. Some people will accuse you of changing. They're right. But what they really mean is, you're no longer controllable. This power teaches you how Jesus walked. Compassionate, but not manipulated. Loving, but not dependent. Present, but not attached to outcomes. You will love people without losing yourself. And here's the hard truth. Some relationships only survive because you were operating below your authority. When you rise, they dissolve. And that is not loss, it is protection. For a long time, your emotions have felt like something you had to survive. Some days you were strong beyond explanation. Other days, you felt one sentence away from breaking. You loved deeply. You felt everything intensely. And because of that, people told you that you were too much, too sensitive, too emotional, too serious, too deep. But the truth is, you weren't too much. You were unguarded, carrying wounds while still trying to pour love. And God saw that. This new power does not remove your emotions. It redeems them. You will not become cold. You will not become detached. You will not lose your compassion. But you will lose something else. You will lose the need to bleed in every room just to feel seen. Before this season, your emotions moved like waves. High faith days followed by deep exhaustion. Moments of clarity followed by crushing doubt. Peace interrupted by sudden heaviness you couldn't explain. You tried to pray your way out of it. You tried to worship through it. You tried to have more faith. But the issue was not your faith. The issue was that your soul had been carrying battles your spirit was never meant to fight alone. This new power brings regulation. Not numbness, stability. You will still feel joy, but it won't depend on validation. You will still feel sadness, but it won't consume you. You will still feel passion, but it won't burn you out. Your emotions stop leading, and start following truth. That alone will feel unfamiliar at first. There was a time when small things hit you deeply. A change in tone. A delayed reply. A look that felt distant. Your mind filled in the gaps with fear. But hear this carefully. That was not weakness. That was unhealed vigilance. You learned to read rooms because you had to. You learned to sense shifts because survival demanded it. But this new power heals that survival instinct. You no longer interpret everything as a threat. You pause. You breathe. You discern. And suddenly you respond instead of react. You realize that not every silence is rejection. Not every correction is abandonment. Not every delay is denial. Your emotions become informed by wisdom, not driven by wounds. This is a big one. Because disappointment used to break you. When people failed you. When plans collapsed. When prayers took too long. It felt personal. It felt like confirmation of your deepest fears. But this power does something sacred. It teaches your heart how to grieve without losing faith. You will still feel the ache. You will still acknowledge the loss. But you won't spiral into self-blame. You won't ask, "What's wrong with me?" You won't collapse into despair. You will say, "This hurts, but God is still good. This didn't work, but I am still called. This ended, but my future didn't." And that is emotional authority. Chosen one, this one will set you free. For too long, you felt responsible for how others felt. You tried to fix moods. You absorbed tension. You carried guilt that wasn't yours. If someone was upset, you blamed yourself. If someone pulled away, you chased. If someone misunderstood you, you over-explained. But this power teaches you a holy boundary. Compassion without self-abandonment. You realize that Jesus loved deeply, but he did not manage emotions for people who refused truth. You can love without rescuing. You can care without controlling. You can support without sacrificing your peace. And when someone chooses distance, you no longer panic. You release them with grace. This is where healing becomes visible. You stop shaming yourself for what you feel. You no longer say, "I shouldn't feel this way." Instead, you say, "God, show me what this emotion is revealing." Your emotions become messengers, not masters. You listen without judgment. You process without condemnation. You heal without hiding. And because you become emotionally safe for yourself, others feel safe around you too. Not because you absorb their pain, but because you carry peace. There were things that used to hijack your emotions instantly. Certain words. Certain people. Certain memories. They could pull you back into old versions of yourself. But this power breaks that hold. Not overnight. Not magically. But gradually, deeply, permanently. You notice one day that the same situation doesn't hit the same way. You remember, but you're not reliving it. You feel, but you're not trapped in it. That is healing. That is strength. That is the Holy Spirit restoring your inner world. This is the greatest emotional shift of all. Peace that stays, even when answers don't come yet. Peace that remains, even when people misunderstand you. Peace that guards your heart, not because life is perfect, but because God is present. This peace doesn't erase emotion. It covers it. It steadies you. It holds you. It reminds you who you are, especially on hard days. Chosen one. Your emotions are no longer a battlefield. They are becoming a sanctuary. What once overwhelmed you will now inform you. What once controlled you will now serve you. What once hurt you will now heal others, without harming you. God is restoring emotional strength to you, not by hardening your heart, but by anchoring it in truth. You are not too much. You were just unprotected. And now, you are covered. Your prayers will change. Not louder, not longer, but sharper. You stop begging. You stop negotiating. You stop pleading from fear. And you begin to pray from alignment. You don't ask God to come. You realize He's already present. You don't ask Him to fix everything. You ask Him how to move with Him. Your prayers become conversations, not monologues. And sometimes, the most powerful prayer you pray is silence. Because authority doesn't need to shout. For a long time, you've carried a calling that felt larger than your current life. You sensed it in quiet moments. You felt it when you prayed. You recognized it when certain words pierced your spirit and wouldn't let go. Yet your reality didn't seem to match what God showed you. And that gap, that space between what you know and what you live, that space has been one of the most painful parts of your journey. This new power does not eliminate that tension overnight. It redefines it. Before this season, you were searching for confirmation, searching for signs, searching for opportunities to prove that what God placed inside you was real. You felt pressure to do something meaningful, fast. But this power changes your posture. You stop chasing purpose, like it's a destination you might miss. You realize your calling is not something you find. It's something you carry. And when you carry it with obedience instead of urgency, God activates it in stages. You become faithful with what's in your hands, without resentment. You stop comparing timelines, without bitterness. You stop forcing doors, without fear. And suddenly your calling feels less like pressure, and more like peaceful responsibility. This is where true authority begins. There was a season when you wanted people to see what God put inside you. You wanted recognition, not for ego, but for reassurance. You wanted affirmation, not for pride, but for survival. But the need to be seen often comes from unseen wounds. This new power heals that. You stop performing your calling. You stop over-explaining your vision. You stop defending your assignment. You become comfortable being hidden. Because you understand something now. What is from God does not need marketing. What is from God does not need manipulation. What is from God does not need urgency. When the time is right, God Himself will introduce you. Many people burn out because they think obscurity means delay. But obscurity is not neglect. It is training. This power teaches you how to steward your calling when no one is watching. You pray when there's no audience. You prepare when there's no platform. You obey when there's no applause. And instead of resentment, something holy grows in you. Integrity, depth, spiritual stamina. You stop asking, "When will my time come?" and start asking, "How can I serve well right now?" That shift alone accelerates destiny more than striving ever could. Before God uses you publicly, He establishes you privately. Before He trusts you with influence, He heals you from insecurity. Before He gives you a platform, He gives you roots. This power reorients your calling inward first. You become disciplined. You become consistent. You become grounded in truth rather than hype. You learn that miracles are not the proof of calling, fruit is. Character, faithfulness, love, self-control. And when those become stable, your external assignment begins to unfold naturally. This new power removes false metrics. You stop measuring success by visibility. You stop measuring obedience by results. You stop measuring favor by comparison. You realize that some of the most powerful callings move slowly, quietly, deeply. Jesus spent 30 years preparing, and 3 years fulfilling. Speed does not impress heaven. Obedience does. This power teaches you patience without passivity, movement without panic, vision without obsession. The delays now make sense. If God had promoted you earlier, it would have crushed you. If He had exposed you sooner, it would have distracted you. If He had elevated you faster, it would have corrupted you. God wasn't saying, "No." He was saying, "I'm shaping you into someone who won't lose me when the calling manifests." This power brings gratitude for seasons you once resented. You stop grieving lost time. You start honoring gained wisdom. This is the greatest change of all. Your calling becomes less about what you want to do, and more about where God is already moving. You stop pushing. You stop forcing. You stop striving. And alignment finds you. The right people recognize you, without convincing. The right doors open, without pressure. The right assignments come, without confusion. You move with God instead of ahead of Him. And that makes all the difference. Chosen one. Your calling is not late. It is not lost. It is not fragile. It is being fortified. What God has placed inside you will not fade. It will not be stolen. It will not expire. This power is anchoring your calling in truth, not timing. In obedience, not applause. In surrender, not striving. And when it unfolds, it will be undeniable. Let's talk about the delay. Because you've wondered. The waiting was not punishment. It was preparation. If God had released this power earlier, it would have destroyed you, or inflated you. You had to be healed enough to carry authority without becoming harsh. You had to be humbled enough to lead without control. You had to be broken enough to depend on grace. God did not delay your power. He protected your soul. Chosen one. This new power will not make your life easier, but it will make you unshakable. You will walk into rooms and shift atmospheres without speaking. You will bring peace where chaos once ruled. You will discern truth without needing proof. You will stand firm without becoming hard. God is entrusting you with influence, not over people, but over spiritual territory. And heaven is watching how gently you carry it. Before you move on, before you scroll, before you return to the noise of your day, I want you to pause right here. Because moments like this don't come often. Moments where the Spirit is not demanding anything from you, only inviting you. You don't need to become someone new after this message. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove that this resonated. You simply need to step into what God has already awakened inside you. Let this settle in your heart. God is not waiting for you to get everything right. He is not measuring your worth by your consistency. He is not counting your mistakes against your calling. He is not disappointed in your humanity. The power He is releasing in your life does not flow through perfection. It flows through availability. Through a heart that says, "Lord, I don't have all the answers, but I trust you." Through a soul that chooses obedience even when clarity is partial. Through a life that keeps walking, even after falling. That is who God uses. This is important. Because many people expect transformation to feel explosive. But this power doesn't arrive like a storm. It arrives like peace. You won't wake up suddenly fearless. You won't become instantly confident. You won't feel spiritually invincible. Instead, you'll notice small but holy shifts. You pause before reacting. You choose rest without guilt. You say no without explanation. You pray without panic. These are signs you are stepping into it. Chosen one, hear this clearly. You are not waiting for approval. You are not waiting for recognition. You are not waiting for someone to validate what God already confirmed. When God entrusts you with power, it is not announced publicly first. It is recognized internally. You will feel it in your spirit. A steadiness. A clarity. A refusal to shrink. That is your confirmation. You don't step forward by hating who you used to be. That version of you survived things the new version no longer has to. That version prayed desperate prayers. That version held on when giving up felt easier. That version carried faith through confusion. Honor them. but don't return to them. This new season doesn't require the same coping mechanisms. It doesn't require the same emotional armor. It doesn't require the same survival instincts. You are no longer just surviving. You are being led. God is not commanding you right now. He is inviting you to trust His pace, inviting you to rest in His presence, inviting you to walk without fear of being left behind. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take the next right one. And heaven will meet you there. Chosen one. May this power settle gently in your life. May it anchor you in truth. May it quiet the noise within you. May it strengthen you without hardening you. May you walk forward with humility and authority, with peace and conviction, with faith and wisdom. What God has started in you, He will complete, and you will not miss it. If this message spoke to your spirit, don't rush away from it. Carry it into your prayers. Carry it into your decisions. Carry it into how you treat yourself. And remember, you don't have to strive to step into this power. You simply have to walk with God. And that is where everything changes.